My dad always said, try everything in life, but be stronger than what you try. Never let anything consume you. He said, if you ever want to smoke a joint, your first joint should be with me. Okay? And I did that. My first joint, I took it home. My mom sat with me, my dad sat with me, my brother sat with me, and we all smoked it together. And you know what that did to me? It just took away the thrill from all of this stuff. So, I work with a lot of billionaires, and I always ask them, I'm fascinated with their success. I said, how did you build this? Like, what made it possible? They just said, we believe we could. So just imagine the power of a mind. A belief starts from a mind. Forget about capital and money and investments. It started with a belief. And I'm proud to say we're probably the highest paid team in the world today. Success is great, but I like to be effective, which means if someone comes to me, I want to make a positive impact in their life. I can be the best, but I want to be the most effective. That's my vision.
What's good, everybody? In today's video, we've got another idol of mine on Beer Biceps. He's India's biggest holistic health and lifestyle coach, one of India's most successful fitness entrepreneurs, and one of the most positive, chillest human beings you'll ever meet in your life. Luke,
how are you doing?
Thank you so much. Luke Coutinho is on Beer Biceps today. And Luke, I just want to start off this interview with going back to your past a little bit. So, in your words, you've told me that you started out in a hippie zone. So, would you like to just elaborate on that a little bit for the viewers?
Yeah, so my parents moved to Goa, and at that time it was the whole hippie stage in Goa. And as I went through college, I spent very little time in college, but I spent more time at all the psychedelic rave parties, hanging around with hippies, to the extent that I got into DJing at most of these parties back in the hippie stage in Goa. That's when Goa trance was on the rise and it was becoming an international phenomenon.
So how did you transition into becoming India's premier health coach? Like today, you've coached some of India's biggest business families, people from Bollywood, and more importantly, you're kind of helping people all over the world with their cancer treatment. So you've gotten into such a serious profession and you've become so successful in the world of health and fitness. Where was the pivot? Like, where did all of this change?
So honestly, I finished with my whole college scene and, the DJ scene and the rave scene, and I moved on into my corporate, life. I did my hotel management, but it was a subject called nutrition. And I really liked that subject of nutrition. And I didn't really like hotel management at all. But I had to major in something and I liked nutrition. So I took that further. I moved into the corporate world. I honestly never had a plan. A lot of people in life say that you should have your strategy in life and your plan. I never had a plan because I always believed that flow with life. And life's going to put you in the right place at the right time. So I just moved where life took me. But I kept studying nutrition on the side because I was always interested in anatomy. I was always interested in the human body. I never had a clue that it's going to take me to the place that I am today.
Yeah. So, Luke, you said that your team is like one of the highest paid in the industry, and there's a lot of health and fitness entrepreneurs watching this interview right now.
Right.
Are you comfortable sharing kind of like a rough range of what you're
Yeah, I'll give you a nutritionist in my team will earn about 3.5 lakhs a month.
Wow.
That's all I can say. It's as simple as that. Like my lowest paid nutritionist, who's a senior, will probably earn about like 2 lakhs a month and stuff like that. And they can earn more every month. It's dependent on the patients that we have. It's very easy for me to have a model, and I want to make this statement out right now. When I came back to India, I looked at clinical dietitians. I needed to hire them. They were getting paid 8,000 rupees in a hospital doing a 16-hour job. Yeah. How are you going to be motivated to look after sick people on 8,000, which won't even cover half of your bills?
Yeah.
I said, I want to change this because the position that we have, I think fitness and health is looked as a kind of a glamour industry here, but you're giving people back their lives, the work that you're doing, you're inspiring change in people. Yeah. And that has to come with some value and respect. So we pull people out of hospitals, we pull people everywhere, we give them respect for their roles, respect for what they've studied. And now I said, you take what you want, but this is your patient, now you give your life to this patient and heal them. So I believe if they're happy, the patient can be looked after. If they're unhappy, we can't give 100%.
So Luke, I want to take you back to your past a little bit, from your party phase, from your hippie phase. Mm-hmm. Did you ever experiment with any kind of substances at that point which kind of had a lasting effect on your mentality today?
My dad always said, try everything in life, but be stronger than what you try. Never let anything consume you. He knew we were coming into Goa, living in a hippie culture where weed and joints were the most common thing and stuff. So I remember the statement, he said, if you ever want to smoke a joint, your first joint should be with me. Okay? And I did that. My first joint, I took it home. My mom sat with me, my dad sat with me, my brother sat with me, and we all smoked it together. And you know what that did to me? It just took away the thrill from all of this stuff. I never abuse it. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'll have a puff in countries where it's legal and stuff once in a way and stuff like that. I have experimented with LSD. I've tried everything like you would do when you're a teenager and stuff like that. But I never took a fancy to anything. If you talk about hard drugs like heroin and cocaine, no. Because what fascinated me were psychoactive substances that plants could produce. You know, like marijuana, cannabis. Like we use cannabis in the US to treat cancer patients today. Of course, it's legalized, it's decriminalized, and you're using it with the right intention and the right way. So my message to the youth is never look at these things as, you know, the main filler of your life. If you're looking at a glass of alcohol as making you the happiest in the day, that's going to consume you, because every time you're sad, what are you going to reach out for? Alcohol. But if you change your intention, and I'm having alcohol because I'm having a good time with the boys, I'm drinking sensibly. You know, I'm not drinking to boost my self-esteem or to be someone else or to impress society. Alcohol can't harm you.
So have you heard of something called ayahuasca?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So ayahuasca is something that's gaining a lot of popularity in the world in general. Okay, so for the viewers who don't know, ayahuasca is basically a psychoactive substance. It's also part of a spiritual ritual from South America.
Absolutely.
And people there use it as catharsis, as a form of healing.
Correct.
Do you have any knowledge about ayahuasca?
So I did my first ayahuasca trip myself in the Amazon in South America a couple of years ago. It's a very spiritual trip. I went to do it the spiritual way. And after the trip, the shaman, that's the priest, sits with you. And he had one thing to tell me. He's saying, you're too young. You've not lived life enough to do this, to experience the spirituality of what life is trying to teach you. So they do it with the right intention. It's a ritual to bring out spiritual healing in you. He said, there's nothing to heal in you. You've not lived enough of life. Come back after a couple of years. But I'm glad you bring up this point, you know, because it's become a fad now. You know, there are people who claim to be these shamans and they carry the ayahuasca all over the world and they do all of these, you know, rituals and trips. Again, you're playing with fire if it's not done the right way. You know, the intention is not to get high. The intention is not to party. The intention is to get deeper into yourself.
Why do you call it a spiritual experience?
So when I was with the shamans, basically, you get high to a state where you can meditate, where you can pray, where you have this experience where you can actually go back to your childhood and you see things which you can't see today. You know, you can remember every aspect of your childhood. So it's like getting you below layers that we built up over time. So look at the innocence of a child. They're innocent. Why do we like spending time with children? Because they have innocence. You know, but with humans, we're guarded. The moment we're with a human, our guards come up because humans are filled with layers that we develop over the years. Now, ayahuasca takes you through these layers back to your innocence, where you can see who you were and make that decision that, wow, life has really pushed me on a completely different path. My ego, my pride, everything's too high. And now I want to come back to what I was. And so you meditate yourself through the journey and come back again. Now, see, you don't have to use ayahuasca for that. You can use life. You can be high on life. You can use prayer. You can use your work as a passion, meditation. These are all the things. I'm not saying ayahuasca is replacement, but a lot of people use ayahuasca. The natives in South America use it as a way of spiritual healing.
So the way I understand it, I feel like both meditation and ayahuasca kind of give you the same effects. It's just that with ayahuasca, you're getting like a big dose of
you're getting a push, like a huge push.
Massive release of DMT in your mind. And meditation, you're releasing a bit of DMT every time you meditate.
And you're evolving, right? Meditation is it's like a habit. You're evolving every day. How many times are you going to do ayahuasca, right? How many times are you going to do it? And I've also noticed, like people who are high on life and really, really happy people, ayahuasca, you don't need it. Why are you trying to get through it? But people who have gone through a lot of trauma in their lives and stuff like that, it's optional. I mean, the shaman suggests that you can do it because you need that kind of help to go. I mean, this is the reality of the world. It's not a healing environment for us today. We've got to create our own healing environments through meditation and prayer. So it's like a crutch for you.
So you're also a big meditator.
Yeah, I've got into that in the last couple of years.
So would you say that, you know, you can get high or stoned during a meditation session?
Of course you can get high, definitely. I mean, what's the whole idea of meditation? Most people think meditation is silence your mind. It's not about silencing your mind. No one can silence their mind. It's about being with your breath or being with any aspect that distracts you from your thoughts. So if I'm focused on my breath right now, my mind is in the present moment. That's what meditation is. So you can be listening to your favorite song and you're so into it that while you're listening to the song, you're not thinking of anything else but the song. That's a state of meditation. You can be playing a 1-hour game of football and you're so into the game that you realize, hey, I didn't think of anything while I'm playing. That's meditation again. So it's overrated that you got to light a candle, sit with your legs crossed and stuff like that. You know, you don't. It can be at any point in the day where you're just focused on one thing and you're completely into the present moment. It's as simple as that.
So look, you deal with a lot of cancer patients on a daily basis. They're people who are kind of going through difficult phases of life and very peculiar phases of life where, you know, they're staring death in the face. And you're talking to so many of them probably like every day. What have you learned from them?
That's a great question. What I've learned is that, you know, when you see patients who don't know if they're going to live tomorrow or how many days, imagine someone who's been told they have 3 months left to live. What do you do with those 3 months? Or someone who's told that you've got a GBM in your brain, statistics say that you're going to die in like, 2 months. You know, it just teaches us to be grateful for what we have right now. We may not have everything in our life, but you have so much more than someone who's staring death in the face. And then it just reminds us to be grateful every day and not to be attached to things that create misery for us. You know, I mean, it is a common thing. There are youth watching this. You are going to go through breakups. All of us go through breakups. We hurt people. People hurt us. All of that stuff. But we can't let it consume our lives, because look around you. Out of that, you know, what's really hurt? Our ego and pride. And there's nothing wrong, because all humans have ego and pride. That's why we're so hurt. That's why we want revenge. That's why we want love back. But look beyond the bigger picture. What all do you have? You have your legs, you have your hands, you're not in hospital. You probably have your family, you have your siblings, things where you can draw love and support out of it. So I'm saying, feel the pain of a broken relationship if you have to. Feel the pain of a divorce. Feel the pain of everything. But don't let it consume you. There is so much more in life that you have.
So, you know, we have these meet and greets all across India, and there's always college kids, but there's also these slightly older people, you know, people are like 27, 28, who look at those motivated college kids and think that, no, wait, am I too late? What's happened? Is it like too late for me to do well in my career? Now, you started your current career at the age of like 34. What advice do you have for them, people in the late 20s, early 30s, who've still not found their direction?
It's never too late, and it's never too late. And sometimes if you can't find your direction, if you cannot find your direction, just have an intention that you're looking for one and just move around your day. It will come to you. Because what I believe in life, if you're trying to chase something all the time, it becomes elusive. The more you're trying to chase something, it gets elusive. Like I said, we were talking earlier, it's all about intention. If I have an intention that I want to find a path that's going to make a difference to the world, just put the intention out there. Think of it every day, visualize it, and just move on with your daily. Don't try to make it happen. It is going to happen. It's going to happen if you have a strong intention. It's as simple as that. If you think it's late for you, I have friends in the US who have started their careers at the age of 46, who have changed their careers at the age of 56. Wow. It's unbelievable. It's just passion. But if you're comparing yourselves with your friends all the time and saying, oh, that person's progress, and you're comparing their success with yours, you are always going to be miserable. But your benchmark should be yourself. How was I yesterday? Can I be better than what I was yesterday? Can I be better than what I was last month? So your own comparison is your own benchmark. That's how you evolve.
Luke, so right now, the way I look at your career, I think you're trying to change the world of health like all over the planet. So if you had to give like a young person or anyone really just one health tip, what would it be? From the king of health in India.
The most powerful tip that anyone can do. You could be in college right now, you could be in school, you could be a senior citizen, you could be having a worse health problem. Of course, you want to do this in a supervised way in case you have a medical problem. It is the beauty of intermittent fasting. I want to call it fasting. And you know, there's a lot of science to this. Every religion talks about it. The human body has a fasting mechanism built into you. That is magic in that fasting. I'm not talking about forced fasting where you deprive yourself of food and you're getting hungry and all of that stuff. A natural cycle that we all have. It will heal you. It is your most anti-aging formula. You have deadly diseases, you will enable energy in the body to start healing you. You will lose weight and keep the weight off the right way. It will just reset your body. Millions of people around the world who are now doing our fasting today, they're eating what they want sensibly. They're fasting and they have the most brilliant lives.
Either way, so I hope everyone gained a lot from this interview. Just in this conversation, I learned a lot. And I already kind of feel positive and happier just talking to you.
Thank you, bro.
So I totally get why you're the leading health coach in the country and one of the leading cancer coaches in the world, really. So Luke, thank you so much, brother.
Thanks for having me part of this.
For sure. I'm going to link all of Luke's handles down below. Please go check it out. Go give it a follow. Subscribe to his channel. And until next time, guys, from Luke.
Thank you, bro.
And Ranveer, we'll see you guys later.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.